Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next fight. Making his way to the ring and fighting out of the red corner, it's Carlos Quevedo.
Moving into our penultimate fight, we have Carlos Quevedo here out of Team Lloyd Irvin. 1-1 right now. This is a guy who I've been very impressed with, given his showings here in TCB. Very much capable of pulling out another victory for himself and putting him fully into the win column. I think the 2-1 look good on this man. 5'9", 26 years old here in the welterweight division.
Yeah, excited to see Carlos in here. He's very focused in the back when I was speaking with him. Hailing from Mexico, he says he's had a few years training there with Team Lloyd Irvin, and he's been he loves to travel, and he's dedicating this fight to his esposa Jennifer. So hopefully she's there and supporting him and watching him maybe in the live stream here. And he's got a UFC fighter in his corner there, putting Vaseline on him. Tafan the Don on Instagram, if you guys want to check him out. He's a UFC fighter here in-house here at the Salisbury Center, and he's in the corner of Carlos Quevedo, who is really excited and focused to make his mark here inside the TCB ring tonight.
And Brent, I want to give this opportunity over to just paying tribute to how much you've been doing behind the scenes, getting these really quality interviews and quick talks with everybody on site. Make sure that you check out his Instagram, not only for deep inside looks at Cagezilla, TCB, and beyond, but also updates on his own boxing league, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. At Brent Hess on Instagram, you guys can see a lot of interviews for both Champions League Boxing, Cagezilla. I'm getting an in-depth look at these guys, but let's bring out the blue corner here, because I want to see what Anthony Carbajal has going on.
And his opponent, making his way to the ring and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Anthony Carbajal.
This 35-year-old from Capital MMA currently is sitting in the 0-1 bracket, but this is a guy, the job to split the world, and I think the fighting skills to match. So let's see what he's going to be able to do here to try to right that current record and make his way to the 1-1 here in welterweight.
Yeah, excited to see Anthony. A pleasure to speak with him. I thanked him for his service there in the back. He's a Marine, an active Marine, and in the U.S. Armed Forces, and said he likes functional fitness. He's a family man. You would never guess it, Chris, but he's got 4 kids. And and he says he's dedicating this fight to his wife, Mary Carmen, who puts up. He said she puts up with my bleep. She puts up with my stuff when I'm getting ready for fights. So shout out Mary Carmen, and yeah. I mean, Anthony, really excited to see him in here, coming from Capital MMA, great team up against another great squad from Team Lloyd Irvin. So this is going to be an awesome co-main event here coming into the TCB ring.
Yeah, absolutely. Another fight that I really am eager to see play out here. Class B, we are dropping back from Class A for our last few fights that we had, but still plenty of potential on display for both of these fighters to get would be the first thrilling knockout, I believe, of this whole event so far here. Been kind of at want for big finishes. Now, we don't want anyone to get hurt, but at the same time, a little bit of action would be nice to leave a mark on your legacy for TCB.
Yeah, paying his respects, bringing the tradition into the TCB ring. Let's send it to Chris to make this one official here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. This battle is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the TCB welterweight division. It is brought to you by our friends at Ace Party Rental. They've got you covered. Check them out at acepartycentral.com. And Freedom Bail Bonds of Fairfax, Virginia. Everybody loves freedom. And now, starting out, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5'9" and weighing in at 170 pounds, fighting out of Team Lloyd Irvin and cornered by UFC veteran Tefan Chakwi. With a record of 1 win and 1 defeat, it's Carlos Quevedo! And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 6'1" and weighing in at 169 pounds, fighting out of Capital MMA. He is an active duty United States Marine. It's Anthony Carbajal. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this co-main event of the evening is scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds in the TCB welterweight division. It is brought to you by our friends at Ace Party Rental and Freedom Bail Bonds, and your referee is Angel Ortiz. And here's referee Angel Ortiz with the fighter instructions.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules earlier today. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourselves at all times. Fight clean, fight hard. Any final questions? No, touch them up, go back to your corners, get ready to come out fighting.
Oh boy, getting ready for this co-main event. There's a lot on the line, a lot to watch out for.
Yeah, this one's going to be exciting. This is a big co-main event. I think that's why they saved it for this slot here. Neither of these guys are wearing shin pads, so this 170-pound fight is going to be pretty powerful. Can't wait for them to get started. Nobody's had really a feel-out round here tonight. Everybody's just been getting right after it.
Yeah, and all ready to open us up. Blue corner with a small stutter step on the approach here. But good exchanging of head kicks, one side or the other, showing that they're willing to do so even at this weight and size. With that acceleration in mind, very quickly, takedowns can't occur. You've got to be careful in these situations.
Yeah. Yeah. Carbajal pressing forward. But Quevedo staying smart, staying poised, and letting them know you can't just rush in here.
And this is one thing that demonstrates a lot of ring experience and training. Even though we're seeing Quevedo bounce back away from the effective distance that Carbajal is exhibiting, he is rounding while doing so. And in kind, he's not getting cornered, he's not getting put up against the ropes, and that's been something that a few fighters in the past have really been struggling with. And so, while Carbajal does remain in the driver's seat here, I think Quevedo is doing a really good job of avoiding damage where he can.
Yeah, no, exactly. Both these guys, as soon as I said none of these fights are having a feel-out round, these guys have a feel-out round. And looks like they're feeling each other out, but they're getting going now. And
yeah,
it's only a matter of time before someone lands something big shot here, I think.
A feel-out round with attempted head kick. So how much of a feel-out round that is for you to say. But right now, I do think that Carbajal is just doing a good job keeping center stage here. Quevedo, like I said, has, to his credit, avoided a lot of damage, but his offense in general is just looking a little bit more gappy than what I would like to see out of him. And right now, I think that Carbajal is just controlling space nicely. The fact that he's willing to play at range and showing a lot of confidence in doing so gives me a little bit of worry as to what Quevedo can actually do if he wants to turn the gas on, because Carbajal seems to have a solid lock-in. End of round one, not a whole lot being done on either side, but I think what has been shown here is putting the cards in the favor of Carbajal going deeper into this.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know who I lean towards there after round number one. It was kind of a chess match there, let's say, and I'm excited to see what they bring into round 2 and 3. I think they're gonna get after it. They got to get after it. Yeah, look at Quevedo getting some expert advice from a UFC fighter. And Carbajal also getting some his corner very energetic and very giving him some good insight, I can tell. So yeah, this is gonna be a good one here. It's round 2 and 3, I think, are gonna have to hold all the action here.
All right, moving into round number 2 here. Both of these fighters, as you said, experiencing a feel-out round for at least, let's just say the first 2/3 of round number 1. Therefore, energetic, ready to go, and I'm hoping for a big gambit early, particularly from Quevedo. I'd love to see him rack up the damage or at least make a statement where Carbajal can't just stand center stage this whole time.
Yeah, now Quevedo's coming after him. Came out a little more aggressive there in round 2. Both guys throwing some heat on the with the kicks. With no shin guards on, That do not feel good.
Yeah, right now, things are kind of granted back to a little bit of a slow exchange center stage. Could be due to the open stance. Carbajal tries to put an end to it, running in with that flying knee. Doesn't get a whole lot. Quevedo, yet again, reactive, playing that defense quite solidly here, exchanging another leg kick. Both these guys doing some damage, but right now it's all in service of a bigger purpose. Nobody's been going for that big knockout blow yet. That makes it Carbajal. First time I think his back has touched the ropes. Looking to reset now. Advance forward, Quevedo, giving him the space to do so. Meeting him with hooks all the while.
Oh, man, Carbajal was getting ready to spin, and before he could spin, Quevedo spun and hit him upside the head with an elbow or a forearm. And that was funny to see. Carbajal trying to close the distance here and get some significant strikes off. Like to see him throw more hands.
Things still very much going slow, very deliberate for both of these fighters. Accelerating towards a head kick. Quevedo gonna test Carbajal's defensive reaction time. Carbajal begin to be able to dodge back as a response to that head kick. Now looking for another trade, this time a little bit more towards the torso of the red corner. Ashatori not going to lead to anything. No scoop, no dump. Angel Ortiz just kind of reprimand him for that. Ooh,
yeah,
good hook kick. Not going to do a whole lot, though.
This fight very kick heavy. Oh, that was a big left hand as soon as I said that. And I think that's really where Carbajal could excel if he would let those hands go. I mean, he's such a powerful dude. You can just tell from the upper body strength that you see from this guy. If he let his hands go, ripping some big hook punches or even some punches down the middle, I think he could have some success there. But, you know, ultimately, I think this fight is a hard one to judge. What do you think, Chris?
I definitely agree with that one. And honestly, time is flying by just because we're getting less density of offense, although more quality offense out of both of these fighters compared to some of what we're seeing out of some of the less experienced fighters that were on the card earlier. Now, what I think this means is that Carbajal's dominant center stage, especially there in round number 1, could be an uphill battle for Quevedo, but Quevedo is doing such a good job of getting those very dicey shots to almost connect, and Carbajal's got to be careful because if he gets tested one too many times, eventually you can slip up, given the bright lights, given the pressure that is on you. So this round number 3 going to be a decisive one.
Yeah, this is gonna be the deciding round, in my opinion. Not sure how the judges have the first two, but I think this one's going to be the big one. And they got to let it rip here. It's not like they've been going gas, you know, all gas. I think they got some gas in the tank, and they gotta run it here.
Yeah, I really do want to see a little bit more in the way of damage being put out. Maybe with a little bit less care for yourself, you know, dive in, taking one upside the head has worked for people in the past. Now, that's, of course, very risky given the striking power that both of these guys have demonstrated. But time and time again, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
That's right. That's right. I like that one. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Oh, nice head kick there from Carbajal.
Yeah, Carbajal definitely shown a little bit more willingness to expend a lot of energy on singular strikes. Doing so yet again, more kicks. And I think that Quevedo, as much as he's been ducking and dodging, and while his conditioning is definitely there, and he's been doing a great job of continuing that here in round number 3, it's still tiring, right? Carbajal hasn't been run around the ring quite as much.
Yeah, I think, I'd like to see some, yeah, there we go. We're starting to let the hands go. That's what I want to see from either guy. Nice right hand. You see that? Anytime Carbajal throws, he connects with his hands. He's got to work on his boxing a bit, I think.
I would tend to agree. I think that right now Carbajal could easily follow through with more than what he's currently giving, which is singular strikes. Quevedo, though, almost connects with another head kick. This is scary for both of these fighters now, especially as we're starting to see the guard drop, you know? It's getting tiring, just keeping it up all the time, trying to find responses, firing off shots of your own. And I think that Quevedo is getting the worst of it by dropping that guard quite a bit, especially when Carbajal does not seem to be lagging away from just these big shots. And finally, there's an attempted spinning back fist.
Quevedo gives him one back for good measure. Neither one really connected, like real solid, but definitely some great attempts there. So who's going to finish the round strong here? Come on.
Big leg kick there from Quevedo, but too little too late. Spinning back elbow, trying to finish this one off, but there's the bell, and there is our co-main event in the books. What a close one, Brent, and what a great way to build up to our main event as well.
Yeah, close fight. Capital MMA's corner jumped up, really excited, very confident that they think they got this one, but I think it's a little closer than they might estimate. And so we're really going to have to see how the judges scored this one. But I don't know. Carbajal had some nice head kicks as well in there. So the judges score, I know they score those as pretty high on the scoring ranking. So I don't know. Yeah, Carbajal, what do you think? What do you think, Chris?
It's so tough to decide, right? I do like you talking about this head kicks, but also damage one way or the other, I don't think has been like very apparently shown by either of these guys. And some of that comes down to how surgical the style has been. But in kind, I mean, you can't really look to see, oh, who's gotten rattled, who actually was eating shots, because neither of these guys really fit that bill. I think that this is definitely one of the closest fights. A razor's edge here, one way or the other, maybe a second split decision back to back.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it'll be a split decision. Man, yeah, Carbajal's corner is really happy and smiling, and almost like they're celebrating already. Maybe they know something I don't.
Yeah, definitely a question to be had here. Both sides raising their fists, feeling confident about what they showed here today. And honestly, I'm overjoyed with their showings as well. I think both Quevedo and Carbajal have great futures here in TCB. Can't wait to see more of them.
Yeah, this is a tough one to tally up because both guys, it wasn't like, you know, they were fighting a very kind of cautious fight, you know, safe fight. And the significant strikes, you really had to count them. So let's see. I'm really curious on this one. Let's send it down to Chris Fuller to get our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for both these fighters, putting on a great show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Judge 1 has scored the bout 30-27, Carbajal. Judge 2 has scored the bout 30-27, Quevedo. And Judge 3 has scored the bout 29-28 for your winner by split decision. Out of the blue corner, it's Anthony Carbajal.
Hey, I call the split decision, which is better than I usually do in these situations, Brent. But Carbajal, Quevedo, both respecting each other a whole lot more coming out of that fight. And frankly, both of them doing such a great job here. It was anyone's game. Carbajal will walk away with it, though. And I cannot wait to see both of them back here in